Welcome back, everybody. Just finished up my Legends ranking tier list. This is what it is again, in case you missed it, in case you didn't see it, whatever. Now we're on to Shop Siri. Now we're on to guns. And this is going to be the fun one. This one's going to be fun. This is a lot more data-oriented. This one is and isn't. Nah, actually, this one's going to be the more opinionated. This one's like pure data. I'm not telling you. I'm not going to say that my favorite gun is the best gun in the game, even though my favorite gun are the best guns in the game. But like, just because I don't like a gun doesn't mean it's not a good gun. Specifically, like the Havoc right now, the L-Star, the Hemlock. I don't necessarily like those guns, but they're good. They're good guns. I mean, I don't like the Devotion, and it's the best gun in the game. But yeah, this is where opinion doesn't matter. So, very important thing. This isn't my opinion. This is literally if a gun is good or not. Like, if a gun is worth you picking up and keeping or not. Now, can you use any gun in the game and probably get a win? Sure. If you want to run 2 Mozambiques without hammer point and try to get a win, go for it. You're probably not going to get the win, but if you do, hey, good for you. This is purely like what guns are good, because the devs have really stated they're not trying to balance the guns. They are very clear in which guns are good and which guns are not good. So I don't honestly know how I'm going to rank the guns, like how this list is going to go. I'm going to kind of just put them in there, and I'll change this whole thing up as we go. I'm going to start from the bottom again. I think it's always more fun to start from the bottom. I think I will do the hop-ups. I'm not going to do the Skull Piercer hop-up. I can tell you that right now. I'm also not going to do Choke hop-up, so just going to, I'll just do this. Say not ranking. Wingman without Skull Piercer, Longbow without Skull Piercer, because like Skull Piercer doesn't really change the placing of these, and like it's the only gun that has a choke, so like you're gonna find a choke for it. I also don't think necessarily whether you have a choke or not is really gonna change the placing of the triple take. So that is the one thing. It's my opinion though. I really don't think a triple take with or without choke is necessarily so much better. I mean, just put the choke on it, but like it's also like you're not gonna have a hard time finding a choke. So I'm not gonna use those ones. I'll make this gray, because why not? So let's get started. D, the just terrible guns. Mozambique, P2020. Yeah, just they're terrible. These two guns are terrible. I think in a perfect world, you land with an Evo shield and you land with these two guns, and maybe like one sight on the P2020 or something, and then you get rid of hammer point, because hammer point does make the guns a lot better, like a lot better, especially the P2020. I think a really cool perfect world hammer point doesn't exist. So these two are like the worst guns, but you drop with them. So like you start with a fighting chance, and then it's like I think that'd be kind of cool. Taking kind of a Book of Warzone too, because you start with a pistol that's just terrible. Like I think that'd be cool. I think that'd be cool. You'd always have like a fighting chance. But yeah, these two guns are just absolutely terrible. Mozambique's worse than the P2020. The P2020 at least has like a big enough mag to like maybe kill somebody. This thing has 3 shots. It's the worst gun. They meme about it being the worst gun for a reason. Next is gonna be bad. Guns you're really not gonna see. Yes, I'm doing it. Bad gun. Bad gun. I know I'm gonna get hate for these two. Well, too bad. Too bad. So, these guns. Hmm. Do I want to put select Fireless Prowler here? Yes, I do. I'm gonna put select Fireless Prowler here. But it's definitely the best out of this group. Yeah, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Now, if you have one of these guns, can you win a game? Yes, absolutely. These guns, I say they're bad. They're not unusable. Let's do that. Unusable. Bad. Unusable. Bad. Decent. Greta. Great. Broken. Yeah, I think I like this so far. There's a lot of guns to go over for it, but yeah, they're bad. This can potentially one-shot if they're flesh, but you also only have 3 bullets for it. And I mean, if they're flesh, you can just use one of the other shotguns and actually do something while they have shield still and have more shots. And like, yeah, okay. I can one-shot someone while they're flesh. Okay, who cares? You can also, while they're flesh, just burst them down with a 99. Hit them once with a wingman. Hit them like twice with a wingman. Just shoot them with any other gun. Like, Hammer Point, I think, is overall, like, legit the best hop-up because it makes 2 unusable guns good and worth something. But, like, they have to be flesh. I mean, if you get it off drop, then, like, you're gonna destroy. Like, that, I'll say that for sure. If you get a Hammer Point Mozambique and a Hammer Point P2020 off drop, you're gonna destroy. You're gonna destroy people because they really don't have good shields. They have white shields and stuff like that. So destroy. But like that's kind of it. I mean, I might put it like actually here because it actually can like one shot or something, but I'm still just gonna put it here. It's really just not a good gun. Even with Hammer Point, it's really not a good gun. 3 bullets, terrible. It's so terrible. Can maybe one shot, most likely 2 shot, which means you only have 1 bullet to miss. And missing is a real thing in this game. You can see NRG Asu miss 5 wingman shots in a row. He's the best player of this game. People miss. And if you use aimbot, you can go fuck yourself. Spitfire. Super slow fire rate. Super slow mobility because it's an LMG. 14 damage per shot. I think. Yeah, I think it's like 14 damage per shot. Or maybe 18 or something. I legit think it's like 14. I don't know. I don't use this gun. It sucks. The gun sucks. It fires slow. Oh, it has a really big magazine. That's literally all I was going for it. But those, like, just use any other gun. If you want the damage for a high clip, use the Prowler. Use the L-Star. Use the Flatline. Use the Hemlock. Use a Havoc. Use an R301. Use a G7. Use a Devotion. Use a Wingman. See where I'm getting at? It's terrible. It's a terrible gun. It's a terrible gun. It has such bad recoil, too. Like, what the... You're really gonna make it have low damage per bullet, have a slow fire rate, have, like, terrible handling speeds, meaning, like, strafing mobility, aim down sights time, all that stuff, and give it terrible recoil. Even if you have a gold Spitfire, a gold Spitfire is worse than a white mag flatline, and I'm not kidding. It's just not a good gun. It's not a good gun. It is slow. Can you win a game with it? Sure. I mean, can you squad wipe with the gun? Sure, you can squad wipe with any gun. Now, if you have any of these other guns down here, you're definitely gonna squad wipe easier than with this thing. It's just way too slow. For a fast-paced, high-damage game like this, it's just slow. It just takes its damn time. RE45. Now, this is a fast handling speed gun. It has pretty decent damage output. Has a pretty small mag, and is just worse recoil than on the 99, and doesn't even hold attachments as well as the alternator, and is not even as effective damage output wise as the 99, the 301, the alternator. It's not bad. It's not bad, but like it's just so overshadowed. It's such an overshadowed gun. If you want to use it over the alternator, go for it. It does fire faster. The alternator, however, does have a much easier control recoil. I feel like the R45 is actually okay, like as a secondary to pull out, like if you need to burst somebody down while they're like really close to you or something. But like even then, at that point, just use a shotgun. That's the whole thing with it. Like it's overall like it did give a damage buff, so its damage output is all right. It can like put out some good damage, but like it's just so overshadowed by every other light gun. I mean, it's better than the G7 up close, but like that's it. R301's better. 99's significantly better. Alternator's better. A little bit. The Prowler. Prowler without select fire. It is a 5-round burst gun, and it can actually do a lot of damage. But burst SMGs are never, ever, ever good. Because burst guns is usually for something at a distance. And as an SMG, you want a fully automatic gun because you're mobile a lot of the time. Now it's I think it's alright. I think it's like good to like kind of burst people down at the end. Again, kind of like the RE45 or like a shotgun, and that's why I think it's okay to hold on to it until you get a select fire and kind of use it like that. But it's really like if you're using it without a select fire, you're kind of weird. I know someone who uses it without select fire and they're comfortable with it. I'm actually moving it up here. I mean, it still can put out a lot of damage output, but like you really need a select fire. Like if you don't have a select fire, it's just better to go for like a flatline or something. But it's still decent. I'll put it decent. It's not bad. Decent's also the alternator. I'll put it kind of here just because same with the R45, the R301, the G7, and the R99 are all just better than it. But it's a placeholder for the guns. It's a great little placeholder for the guns. Again, it's the only reason it's not as good as them because like the Spitfire just fires too slow. But at least like you have the mobility. It's like a Spitfire with like amazing mobility and a really easy recoil control and like really good hipfire too. It's a really easy to handle gun. It's effective. You can use it at range. I think if you're gonna use it, you should use it like a 2x or something. Kind of use it at almost like a range gun, like a mid-range gun. And it's decent. It's not. It's overshadowed by the other guns, but it's still pretty. It's still pretty threatening. Pretty threatening. What else is gonna be in here? I want one more list. I want one more. Recolor these guys. Because I can. Because it makes it look better. There. G7 don't use double tap. That's pretty much the whole thing of it. I'll put that there though. No, don't use double tap. If you're gonna use double tap Evo, just use the massive. Let's see what else is there. Decent. Decent. I love the triple take, but it's just decent. And yeah, so that'll be it for decent. Alternator Prowler I talked about. G7 with double tap, Evo with double tap. Just don't use double tap, just use single fire. I mean, if you really like double tap, again, it's a preference thing. Go for it, I guess, but like the Evo, you're not trying to one pump with the Evo. You're using it as a fully automatic shotgun. If you're trying to one pump with the Evo, just learn the Mastiff. Pick up a Peacekeeper. Go find the Peacekeeper. It's double tap. Just you also like have too much of a gap to miss. The G7, I mean, double tap can be okay, like up close, but why the hell are you using a G7 up close? Just use single fire. The fire rate on it is so much faster if you're using single fire than if you're using double tap. That's what it is for both guns. Double tap is by far the worst hop up that's ever been in the game. Anvil was actually pretty good. Yeah, double tap is it's kind of a pointless hop up. I really don't think you should ever use it. And like, look at pros, they don't ever use it. Hammer point P2020. Again, kind of like this. It's only if they're on flesh, and like there's other you don't really need something for people when they're on flesh. It's more of an issue trying to break their shields, or just hit both. You shouldn't be trying to break their shields necessarily. Like that shouldn't be the only focus of them, and like hitting them with flesh shouldn't be like the only focus. It's fun though. You can really trigger fire that thing. And it's got like a pretty good mag for considering it takes 2 to 3 shots when they're on flesh. I think it's like 3 shots if you hit headshots too. You can trigger figure that thing. You can really definitely like while they're on flesh, it has the second fastest time to kill, only under the devotion. I mean, faster than the 99 and the prowler. So it could definitely just ruin their day. I think it's like a worse wingman in a sense. It's definitely fun, but like again, it's really just the fact that they have to be on flesh for it to really be worth something. If they have shields, it's really not like it's not good. It's also from someone who loves using this gun. Like that's coming from someone who loves using this gun and who has killed 2 people in a row who both had purple shield with this gun. Only using the P2020 because I think I had a P2020 and maybe a G7. I had like P2020 and charge rifle for some reason. I was trying that for a game. I ended up killing 2 people with full purple shields with the P2020 with hammer point. Took a while to get their shields down, but then once they are on flash, they just melted away. If someone's on flash, they just melt away. Even like it's just so much better than the Mozambique. You know how Mozambique can one shot their on flash? This can 2-shot and it also has like a base mag of 10. So you know, put a purple mag on it, has 20. I think it's 20 bullets. It's fun. It's a lot of fun to use. Has great mobility, but like it's just decent. It's literally the same thing of like there's better things you can use as a secondary that can just do more. Select Fire Havoc is you don't really. It's another hit detect. It's another hit scan weapon. It does 60 per shot, 90 if you get a headshot, so it does good damage. But it's just slower than other snipers. You need a Select Fire for it to be used at range. The Havoc's really just like if you have a Havoc, you're using it as like an up close assault rifle, fully automatic. I mean, now that the fact that Havoc has a significant recoil increase, like it kicks like a mule when you first start shooting it. That means if you have a Havoc and you want to use it at range, you should probably use the Select Fire on it. But it's just like decent. Like, I like it sometimes. I like to use it sometimes, but you're really not using a Havoc for the Select Fire. The triple take is going to be, I think, just like a decent sniper. It's by far the best up close, and it's really great to pick up when you like land because it does like just 2 shots is not 60. You need 2 shots to kill people. I really like the gun. I use it a lot. It's one of my favorite snipers. But the reason I only put it in decent and not great, which is where every other sniper is going to be, every other sniper is going to be in great. Kill the Kraber. I just personally think. Not I personally think. It's too slow compared to like these other snipers, which you have to you have to wait for the choke really. Otherwise, you're only doing like 40, while these ones you don't have to wait for the choke, and this one does 55. This one does like up to 90 with the hit scan. This one does 70 per shot. And like peak is 60, which is only a little bit better than the longbow. But again, you have to wait for it, and you can't like just keep firing as fast as you can with it, unless you're up close. So up close, use the best sniper, but it's also a sniper up close. What are you doing? It's more versatile than the other snipers by far, but it's just like, it's just a little too slow. The choke, waiting for it to choke up is just a little too slow. Then yeah, great. So that's gonna be decent. I think these are all like they're good guns. You can use them if you want. Don't use these two. You can hold this if you're waiting for a select fire. Or if you really like the burst, go for it, I guess. It's weird. You're weird. Can definitely shred people. I might put this. I think select fire is kind of weird. Or it's good, it's effective, but like use a charge rifle. Or just use, I mean, it's like the same thing as just this. Just like you're taking too long to do damage. Just use an actual sniper or a G7 or something else. It's gonna be more effective than select fire havoc. Great. Will be mostly just secondaries, honestly. This great is just gonna be like a bunch of secondaries. The L-Star is great. The Hemlock is great. The Flatline is great. The Prowler is great. Yep. Okay. Snipers. Yeah, I'll keep them in this order. So I got the secondaries. Shotguns are great. These two shotguns are great, but the Peacekeeper, like old Peacekeeper, was by far the best shotgun, and shotguns just aren't as good anymore. You really, really need a shotgun bolt for these to work. Yeah, they just fire way too slow without a shotgun bolt. You really need a shotgun bolt for them to work out, but they're super strong up close. I really like the Massive a lot. I use it up close all the time. I like the Eva too. I personally think the Eva is a little bit better. Just because it's more consistent damage output, but the Massive is better for like poking. The Eva, you really want to hit fire and just let the fully automatic kind of pump them down. The Massive, you ADS all the time, and you kind of like poke at people. You kind of poke around a corner, dip back, stuff like that. So it's definitely used more like the Peacekeeper was. But the Eva just has more consistent damage overall. But these two, they're both just like good. They're both just solid guns. You know, use them for sure. But also like if you don't use them, if you really don't like shotguns, which for a while I was considering not using shotguns, I don't think you're really missing anything specifically. Snipers. These are if you have an Evo shield, pick up a sniper. Unless you have a Hemlock or a G7, pick up a sniper. Charge rifle is the best gun. If you have an Evo shield, charge rifle is the best gun. Longbow is fast because you shoot the fastest out of all the snipers. So it's I think per shot, these two are gonna be better for especially for the Evo shield. Like it's more per shot, but you can really just start ripping people apart with this. The only reason I put it at the worst of the great is because you really just don't see the longbow. Like you see these two snipers more with the charge rifle, mainly just because people have Evo shields, but you really don't see the longbow because people instead will use a G7. Or maybe they'll use a Hemlock. Hemlock's kind of a weird gun. But they'll use a G7 instead. Yeah, charge rifle, if you have an Evo shield, use a charge rifle. If you don't have an Evo shield, I don't necessarily think you should use it. You don't really see it if there's not an Evo shield. Maybe occasionally. It's good for getting people off of a roof. Then it's better to use the Sentinel over the charge rifle if you don't have Evo shield. Mostly because you use 2 shield cells, get disruptor, 1 shot, rip apart a red Evo shield. And then you push them in there on flesh. If you want to have a lot of fun, use a Sentinel with disruptor rounds and just like use disruptor Sentinel all the time, and then go push them with a P2020 hammer point. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. It's so silly. It's good too. You can rip apart people's shields. So there's only takes 2 people to down somebody if you have Sentinel. You rip apart their shields and you hit them with any other long range weapon, and you could just like insta down somebody. It's pretty gross. It does so much damage. Really big headshot multiplier. Does like 138 headshot and 70 per shot, so it just does a lot of damage. It does have a rechamber time, so it's a little. I mean, but the rechamber time is really fast. It's the fact that it's disruptor. If this wasn't disruptor, it would just be down here and decent. Honestly, like it's but the fact that you can use 2 shield cells, only 2 shield cells, and just be able to rip apart people's shields makes it so crazy good. Shotguns I already kind of talked about. The L-Star can really dump, and it's good for kind of a close range, mid-range fight. It is an LMG, so you do not have a lot of mobility with it. You don't have really good handlings with it. It does have really wicked recoil, so it's not like you can really use it at range. But the fact that you don't have to reload, as long as you have to be careful with it because you really don't want to overheat. It takes longer to fix the overheat than it does a reload a gun. But you don't have to reload with the gun. You don't have to reload with the gun. You can just like keep firing it at people. It's an LMG. It's kind of crazy. It does a lot of damage too. Lot of damage. It's pretty scary. But it's just too slow because it's an LMG. There's only one LMG. That doesn't matter. It's too slow because it's so dummy broken. That's Devotion. But yeah, it's great. It's great. If you have an L-Star, you're gonna be scary. Then there's the heavy weapons. Hemlock. There's a lot of people who like the single fire Hemlock. It does a lot of damage. It shoots really fast. It's 18 per shot. You can shoot it really fast. You can start ripping people apart. I'm more of a fan of the burst variant, which is still pretty good for mid range. You know, it can do a lot of damage. It's good for dealing damage. I think it's great to have if you have an Evo shield, just popping people. You know, using it mid range, using it like mid to sort of long range. It's not quite a good long range as the snipers or the G7, but you know, it can still do a lot of damage. It does a lot of damage. And the recoil is pretty easy. Like if you just kind of flick down on your controller or just hold down on your mouse, you're shooting it in burst, you can just laser with it. It's a cool gun. It's a pretty cool gun. So you only really like burst gun. It's also like in single fire, it feels pretty unique. It's definitely a great gun. It's just a little overshadowed. So like it's not like broken or anything, but it's a great gun. It's a really good gun. Flatline. Only thing holding this back is the fact that it has dumb recoil. But this gun does a lot of damage. It's really more like a close range / mid range gun. Slap it 1 time on it, slap it 2 times on it at best. It's got great hip fire. It does a lot of damage. It's a really versatile gun. It's just solid, honestly. It's just a really solid assault rifle. It's definitely scary. I think there's better assault rifles like the Havoc does more damage on it, and the R301 does around the same damage while also being a lot easier to control recoil wise and stuff. And the reload time on it is pretty slow, which sucks. But it's just a strong, hard hitting gun. The recoil, having horizontal recoil just kind of sucks for any gun, and that's what holds it back. Is it's harder to use at like distance, but you can also turn single fire if you want to, kind of use it as a Hemlock. I think Anvil was really good on this gun because you could just like hit for so much damage. It was hitting like for a G7. It was really good actually before with Anvil. I miss Anvil. Then there's the Prowler, and the only reason I put it in great and not like amazing or broken is because it needs a select fire to be good. Like, look, it's down here. It needs a select fire to be good, and sometimes you just don't find a select fire because that's how the game goes. Loba can kind of help that, but like also Loba's not the most used legend. She's not like the most overpowered legend or anything. She's pretty middle ground. You really need a select fire. Now, if you can get a Prowler in select fire, it's one of the best guns by far. It's like broken, amazing, broken. It's right here. That's literally the only thing. It holds it back, as it needs a hop up to function. Otherwise, it's just decent. But get the hop up, and it's amazing. Now, the amazing guns. R301, G7, R99, Wingman. Unordered. This part is unordered. These guns are pretty kind of switchable. R301, super easy to control, Very versatile. You can use it at long range. You can use it at close range. Just like it just kind of does the job. It just always does the job right. It's not as good as the 99 up close, but it still functions very, very, very well. G7, mid-range monster, tears people apart, does so much damage. Such an easy gun to use too. All these guns are the only one that's not easy to use is the Wingman, but the Wingman does so much. R99 is easy to use. You literally just hold straight down. Yeah, this gun is just really good. You can do anything. Mid-range, long-range monster. This gun is also super versatile. You really have to practice it, but it's just so strong. 45 per shot. Get 10 bullets, get a headshot. You do 90 to 100 if you have Skull Piercer. Wingman just rips apart. Wingman just rips you apart. R99, get a mag on it, it's disgusting. Easy control recoil, you can actually use it at mid-range because if you just learn how to control the recoil, you can laser with it. It just tears apart up close without needing anything. You don't need to hop up, you don't need to stock. It's really fast handling speeds. It shoots so fast. But the bullet damage on it is less than the RE45. Shut up. Pick up an R99. It's such a good gun. So good. Such a good gun. You see it everywhere. Like, you see it used by everybody. Oh yeah, Havoc. Havoc's the worst here. Havoc used to be the best gun in the game. That wasn't a legendary gun. They gave it a lot of recoil. So it's not as good mid-range, but it still just puts out so much damage. And has still has such a big magazine. They nerfed it down to 28, I think, instead of 32. Or they something like that, but you only need 6-7 bullets to kill somebody who has a purple shield. It's so strong. It's such a strong gun. It's so strong. It's just a little bit worse at mid-range now. That's it. The recoil is strong, but like doesn't make it not an incredible gun. It used to be up here, but now it's still going to be used a lot. Still just going to be used so much. Does so much damage. Broken guns. Peacekeeper. Kraber. Devotion. Probably something like this. Only downside. I don't know. Only downside. I don't know. A lot of recoil. But like, okay. Not a lot of mobility, but like, okay. It's the fastest sounding gun in the game. Just the broken sniper. What are the downsides? Why would you not pick up one of these guns? Unless you don't like it and you'd rather give it to your teammate. Like, why would your team see one of these guns and not take it if there's ammo in them? Why? Why would you not? Oh, I've got a purple massive. I'm alright. No. Take the Peacekeeper. Oh, I've got a Havoc. I'm okay. No, take the Devotion. My Sentinel's been going in. My Wingman's been going in. Now take the Kraber. Pick up these guns. These guns, if you see them, if they are ever around, be scared. They're broken. So broken. So broken. Yeah, this is pretty much what you see. This is what you're gonna see. Competitive. This is what the good guns pretty much are. Not ranking these. These two are unusable without hop-ups. Mozambique is bad. Don't use the Spitfire for long. Don't use the RE45 for long. Alternator is a good placeholder gun that can do its job for a while. Prowler's okay if you want to hold on to it until you find a select fire, but there's better options, as you see. Don't use double tap. You can use select fire if you want, but it's not like it's really good. This gun is fun and can actually rip people to shreds, but like, there's better options. Good, super solid sniper. These ones are just a little bit better, like a little bit better. And then all of these guns, from great and up, are the ones that are like, once you have this gun, you're gonna be set. Rip people apart with a flatline, shred them with this way having evo shield, tear apart their shields, pump the hell out of them while they're up close in your face, do a lot of damage, do a lot of damage, do a lot of damage. Find a select fire, it's right here. If you find a select fire, the Prowler's here. such a good gun. Does a lot of damage. Can do literally anything you want it to. Mid-range, monster. Can do pretty much literally anything you want it to. Up close, monster. Disgusting, disgusting, disgusting. Need I say more? No. No, I do not.